email if I need to. But Megan, if you could go into the comment section and put your contact information out there, that would be really helpful, so that everyone can just click on you and find you on social media. They can click on your website. If you want to leave any email or phone number, there's an opportunity for them to do that as well. Okay.
Sure, you got it. Thanks, Colleen.
Awesome. So again, sorry on Facebook that we might be having some issues, but I am recording this, so no big deal. If for some reason we lose our feed on Facebook, I will just upload our recording. So we're good to go. No big deal, right? It's fine. So anyway, thank you, Megan. And it's just, you're such a great example for women in the workplace, and for understanding that we can create any culture we want to create. I don't believe there's any rules around that. You got to go by what you feel, right? And what's right, and what you feel is right, and what works for you, and what works for the family and that atmosphere that you're creating at work. So you're in a supreme example of that. And so thank you for joining us, and don't go anywhere, because we're going to be talking to Daniela here in a second. And I want you to stay with us so you can also participate in that conversation. So stay with us.
Thanks so much, Colleen. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. And look, and to all of our listeners, please be looking more for Megan, because Megan is going to be doing some articles in our magazine, and she's going to be around. So she's not going anywhere. And so now I'd like to introduce Daniela Trufin.
Hi, everyone.
She's so patiently just sitting here waiting with me. She looks so adorable, doesn't she, in her pink outfit? So what I met Daniela through a common friend who was Meredith Allen that introduced us. And she lives here in Arizona. That's why she's in the studio with me. And she has an amazing story of a tragedy that happened in her life that actually turned the course of her life and changed her life completely, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
It did. So I'm just going to go ahead and let you share your story, and then that way our listeners can really dig in and get to know you a little better.
Start with when I came to the U.S.
Yes,
right?
Let's start there.
So I was 13. I came to the United States as an immigrant from Romania with my family. I am the youngest of the girls of a family of 10. So a year after we arrived, my dad passed away of a heart attack, leaving me and my mom and my brother to take care of ourselves. My mom was not able to work, so Daniela had to go to work. And what would I find to work at 15? Because nobody's hiring. A social worker, a social teacher at school said to me, "You can come home and clean for my wife." And I'm like, okay. I had no idea what I was doing. Long story short, I started cleaning for them, and then every day of the week was a different teacher. At one point, I had no more space to take anyone. So that started being a cleaning lady and taking clients. Then I got married, had 4 kids, one after another. Actually, we have 5 kids, but 4 kids were in 5 years. And started working for different clients, and to a point where I couldn't do it anymore, and I had to source the jobs out to independent contractors because I couldn't do it. I would train everyone. I would put together training sessions, and finally, at one point, I got enough people to work where I didn't have to work anymore. So, but it did not come easy. Like with every business, whenever something happened in my business, that absolutely made me turn around and said, I would never let anyone put me down. So one of my clients did put me down. I was cleaning. I remember the moment I was on a kitchen floor. I was cleaning, and they did some remodeling in the house and did not tell me up front. It took 2 hours extra. I said to them, you would have to pay me extra. He looked at me down, and he said, if it would be easy, Daniela, everybody would do what you do. And in that moment changed, part of my life. And I said, I would never, ever let anyone talk to me like that. And I will be so successful and I will raise a company that I would never, ever have to work again. So, and nobody would ever put me down. And that was that moment. So I did raise the company. I stayed in my word.
Mhm.
And 4 years ago, exactly 4 years ago, December 14, which was a few days ago,
Mhm.
my 18-year-old son was hit on by a drunk driver here in Arizona. A, um, a lady drove the wrong way on the freeway, hit my son with 70 miles an hour, and
Mm.
put him into uh, like a place where we almost lost him. So I became a caregiver overnight,
Mhm.
and I had to let my business be run by our daughter, my husband, and I had to be a caregiver for him at that point. And I would ask God, like, why, God, why is this happening to me? And I found out that that was happening for me. And in those moments, I realized that life is happening for you, not to you.
Mhm.
Everything in your life is happening for your own good, but we don't understand when we go through challenges.
Mhm.
And I came into an awakening and on a path to find out how can we live an amazing, happier life, not
Mhm.
a life of struggle. And that took me into becoming a coach. I found myself constantly giving advice to women, and
Mhm.
that that actually is what I do today. I do still have my cleaning service company, but I'm also a mindset empowerment coach that supports women live an extraordinary life.
I want to clap right now, but I know that no one's really going to hear that. So if anyone's watching, because we're back live on Facebook. So I think this is what happened. The first half of the show, we got Megan's interview live on Facebook, and then we had an interruption. And then I got it back on when we went live with Daniela. So I guess we're just going to split time today. That worked out okay. So you each get
Everything is
your own
working
live.
out.
It's going exactly the way it needs to. But I want to get back to you, Daniela, because you've had some like major tragedies, and that was one of the stories that you told me. But I remember the other story where you had told me that you showed up early to a
Yes.
job because someone else had asked if they could clean the house prior to guests being there, and so you just like
I was
rearranged your
serving
yeah.
every customer I would do whatever it took
Yeah.
to serve every customer. And I one customer asked me if I could come early because they're
Yeah.
having guests coming in town at 10 a.m.
Right.
So I went really early, did the house. Arriving at the second customer, he asked me, why am I here so early? And I said, well, because I was I was helping my other customer get the house done before guests
Mhm.
arrive. He looked at me and he said, mm. Poverty sucks. And in that moment, I mean, I speak English. I knew that poverty sucks was not really something that, that's where I was. And I asked him, like,
Uh-huh.
what do you mean poverty sucks? And he said, well, you need to get up early, do a lot of jobs to make ends meet. And that was like Colleen said, another moment in my life where I said, I will never let anyone put me down because they think I'm a cleaning lady. I am poor. And I quit that job right then and there. And I told him I gave him
Yes.
2 weeks notice because I
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to come back in 2 weeks and I never
Mm-hmm.
did. And I did say to myself again, okay, I will be so successful that nobody would talk to me like that.
Good
I
for you.
right. Her attitude is freaking amazing. Her son was dying
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
ICU,
he was very hurt.
and you told me I prayed to God,
Yes, I kneeled
just
down.
give
Yeah.
me this one moment and I will be thankful and have gratitude and serve you
I
forever.
will be grateful for the
Yeah.
rest of my life and I will I will find a way to support other people live an extraordinary life.
Isn't that amazing? Just the story that she took a tragedy that most people would, again, you look at your past.
Yeah.
You know, you're not a prisoner to your past. Your past is what actually sets you free.
Yeah.
Your past is what has given you the fuel and all of the skills and the experience for you to have the wisdom to be able to catapult yourself forward.
Yeah.
And a lot of individuals look at their past as it what tethers them down, and that's a choice.
Yes.
It is a choice. Just like it's a choice if you choose to allow your work to get like Megan and we were talking about, if you allow your work to take your priority over your family, it's your choice.
Yes,
and
we
you
all have a
chose
choice
to take these negative comments that people had toward you and utilize them as a catapult to, oh, no, 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 my friend. I am going to take what you said to me and I'm going to use that to fuel to catapult my business forward.
I actually am so grateful and thankful for that.
Yes.
Those 2 moments, because if it wouldn't have been for those moments, I probably would not have been where I am right now.
Okay, I want to keep talking, but I know they're like, break, you got to break. So we're going to go to break. 2 minutes, we're going to be back, but we're still live on Facebook. So if any of you are out there listening and you want to pop over to Facebook, it's a good chance to get the background scene on what we talk about. So we'll be back in 2 minutes live on Voice America.
Okay, great. All
right, thanks, Monk. Oh my gosh. Oh, my husband just stepped in. We're live on Facebook, so I'm just gonna go for a really quick photo. We'll just smile.
Good. One more. 1, 2, 3. Good. Then let me get one.
Okay. My husband just walked in the door. He's our photographer. Many of you have seen him. And someone told me the other day, oh my gosh, how lucky are you that your husband is a videographer and can do all your video and photography? And I was like, I don't think it was luck. I think it was part of the plan, meaning God is good and knows exactly what we need. And it was just the right timing that he launched this business about 4 or 5 years ago. And it just so happens that I went into my business in January of this year and needed a videographer to go to 10 cities with me. And I just so happened to travel 2 years straight with the company I was with prior to that to earn companion status. So he flew with me everywhere for free. And like things just happen the way that they need to happen. And, you know, I probably wouldn't have been able to afford in my first 6 months to be able to hire a photographer and videographer everywhere we went. But now
Did you put an intention?
No. Oh, yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So
it's
let's
100% intention.
talk about intention. Let's talk a little bit about that. Yeah. So I think when we get back from break, I want to talk a little bit more about intention and why it's so important and how you give advice and work with your clients and steps that they can take, because, you know, it's real tangible steps. And Megan, you talked about steps when you were speaking about if I need to check an email when my son is in the
15
bath.
seconds.
Thanks. That's when I do it, you know, and those are just easy steps that you can take. You can still be, because sometimes children take baths for like 15 minutes, right? I'm not gonna
I love that.
They love to be, So you're like, so I can return this email for like 2 minutes, but then I'm in present for 13 of it.
You're listening
you know?
to Lead Up for Women.
Without
Speak
getting
up
your
to
phone
Lead
wet,
Up.
right?
To reach the show today,
Because they splash a lot.
1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email
for jumping
to
back on, everybody, on Facebook. We appreciate it.
Now, back to this week's show.
You know, I have to say, welcome back, listeners. You are listening to Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up, and I'm your host, Colleen Biggs. And I've been joined today by Megan Redzia and Daniela Trufin, and we're now talking about intention. So Daniela shared her story of some people that have crossed her paths that weren't necessarily positive toward her. But what she did was she took those comments and that experience and she turned it around and made it fuel for her to live a better life. And she also took that as fuel to coaching women today on how they can utilize experiences like this that happen in your life, because we can't just say God puts good people in my path all the time. Like he just puts joy and happiness, and that's how I learn. Anyone that you've ever met that has made it in life to where, again, I guess that's also a definition of what we think make it is. Because I was driving to work today listening.
Everybody had struggles.
Right.
Everyone.
But I look at it as, if we didn't have struggles, then how would we have really molded ourselves to learn, right? So people say, well, businesses fail or people fail. And I'm like, I don't really use that word. I call it course correcting. Because it really is, right? If something didn't work, how are you going to know it didn't work if you didn't go down that path to try it? Now you know it doesn't work. That was a lesson you just learned, and now you course correct and go a different direction.
There are no fails. They're all lessons.
No, they're all lessons. And my favorite quote, and I say this all the time, and women across the country have heard this from me: if learning is beneath you, leadership is beyond you. So don't even think that you could possibly be a leader if you are obsolete from learning. You need to learn, and there's times when we're all teachers and times when we're all students.
We never finish learning.
Never.
Every single day.
Never. We should all be sponges and learn from every opportunity. And that's why I'm so grateful to have this radio show, because I already learned from Megan this morning, and now I'm learning from you, Daniela, and appreciate the time that I have with the two of you. So talk to our listeners and Megan a little bit about intention.
Okay, so this was the biggest year for me on transformation. I went to a high-level training, leadership training, where absolutely my life transformed. And in the middle of this training, which was for like 4 months, on September 12th, my husband has a massive brain stroke, like a stroke. We took him to the hospital. The next day, they had to do it like a surgery. His arteries were blocked. We almost lost my husband, and I'm so grateful. And again, thanking God every day that my husband is alive. I found him in time. And through this whole 4 months, we had to do different. Goals that we set up to do, right? And one of my goals was to have my online show, which I'm probably going to say it at the end. I interviewed 20.
Say it right now if you want. There are no rules.
The name of my show is Life is Happening for You.
Yep.
So that's my whole thing about it. Like, nothing is just happening to you. It's happening for you. And I was in the middle of 21 speakers, interviews, and all the things that I had to gather. It's a whole long process. And then my husband is in ICU for 8 days. So what do I do? The next day after his stroke, I had 5 interviews set up already. Now, I could have given up and said, okay, everyone, I have to reschedule. My husband just had a massive stroke. But I didn't do it. I didn't do that. Because before in my life, I always would do that. I would stop something because something else happened in my life.
Yeah.
So my intention was to finish the show by the date of September 30th. And that was 2 weeks away. And I didn't stop. I would get some help in the hospital. My kids, his brothers, his family came in. They supported me. I would go home, have an interview, drive back to the hospital, drive back home to have an interview. I mean, it was just incredible, how I stood and not give up this time. So my intention was to have that show. So for everyone else out there listening, intention is 100% intention. So if it's 100% possible 100% of the time, meaning whatever you put an intention on, it could happen. You just have to absolutely believe it will happen. So I went through all that, and my husband is better. I can say that he survived the stroke, and I absolutely finished this leadership training and I finished my show in time. So I did not stop. Also, one of my goals was to get toned up and in shape and lose 20 pounds. So that was another goal of this leadership that I had to do by the end of the leadership. Again, being in a hospital, I was like, okay, I'm not giving up on that goal neither. So I would just find a place like a waiting room at night, and I would go and do my exercises. I kept on doing it. I did not give up. So that was my intention. And I did lose 21 pounds and I did get in shape. So I did meet my goal because I did not give up. So my intention was to do it, and I did it. And for everyone out there, everyone, it's always possible. You don't have to choose between this or that. You can do it all.
Hashtag no excuses.
No excuses. That was actually nurses in the hospital said, like, what are you doing? Because they found me exercising. They found me on the phone all the time. I was speakers on the phone, and I would say, well, I got some goals I can't give up on. So they were like, whoa.
Megan, you look like you want to say something.
It's just incredible. It's so inspiring. You face so much adversity in your life, and you just keep going throughout all of it with no pause. It's incredible.
Yeah. And along the way, growing and learning and having more happiness and more joy. And I have talked with Daniela on the phone and other times, and her attitude toward everything is, it's okay. God will provide. I will figure it out. It's a blessing. And we're talking, when you're receiving numerous medical bills, and most people at this time of year would take that as, oh my gosh, life is just happening to me and it's the worst, and I can't even survive, and it would just be depression. Here's someone as the pure example of, there's a reason why God is doing this. There's a lesson I'm learning in all of this. Tomorrow's another day. If today didn't turn out exactly the way I thought it was going to, I can find all the joy and silver lining in today, and tomorrow's another day. So no excuses, none,
So
zip.
the difference between my son being in a car accident, when I went bizarre and all over the place, overwhelmed, crying, screaming, I was like lost. Like the difference with when it happened with my husband, I was so in my heart, and I knew this was happening for a reason. So I was so into, because it's not what we're doing, it's the way we're being. So I was being calm. I was being like, I was praying. When I saw the doctor's hands, I kind of like saw the hands of God, like operating on him. So when the doctor said to me, there's these complications, could be, we can lose him, he can have and I said, nope. It's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen to my husband. That will not happen, because my husband has a bigger purpose. He's a giver. He's loving. He is helping people. He needs to be on this earth. He's not going anywhere. So I was so determined that,
Can I get a hell yeah? So, right?
Yeah. Incredible.
This is incredible. You are such an example, Daniela, to women and to our listeners and to anybody out there, that it's your life. It's a way of being, not doing. It's about being present. It's about the way that you perceive your life and the way that you do your life. And it has, by the way, life has nothing to do with anyone else, right?
No, it's
all about you.
Yeah, it has nothing to do outside of you.
Now, I know we're starting to run out of time, Daniela, so will you share your contact information just so I make sure I get it all out there so that people know what that is? How can someone reach you if A, a woman is inspired and wants to work with you, or B, they just want to reach out to learn more about your story?
Yes, they can email me at lifeishappeningforyou.com.
Okay. And it's FOR.
FOR.
Life is happening for you. I want to make sure that no one thinks it's the letter for or anything like that.
FOR. Yeah, for you at gmail.com. And my phone number if they want to reach?
If you want to put your phone number out there, go ahead.
623-332-3262. We can put it in the comments also later on. And I can, anybody that want to work with me, I would be available. I will, we can set up a coaching call and we can take it from there.
I love that. Thank you. And I know that you will probably offer the listeners some time if they want to
Yes.
reach out to you to work with them.
Yes.
And then Megan as well, if anyone reaches out to you, just mention that you saw her on Facebook or heard her through Voice America's Lead Up
Yes.
for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. Wonderful. So Megan, any last words? We literally have a minute.
Nope, just thank you for everything. Thank you, Danielle, for sharing your story. It was very inspirational, so I appreciate it.
Your story was awesome. Thank you for-
Daniela, any
yes.
last words for our listeners?
Yes. Anything you want to achieve in life, put an intention. It's 100% possible
Mhm.
that it could happen. And
Believe
don't
it.
think any other way, because synchronicities will show up in your life and it will happen.
If you want it, you got to
you
feel it.
get it. Yeah.
If you
It's
believe
all
it,
from
it
your
will
heart.
happen.
Yeah, it will happen.
We have all created the lives that are around us. So if you
Yeah.
want it and you believe it, it will happen, because the universe cannot deny you of something that you know and you feel it. It just is what it
And
is.
stop
Yeah.
living in the past.
Yes.
People living that past.
That's
why
called
you
depression.
can't. You have to let
Yeah.
it go. And it's like,
And if you have
step in front.
anxiety, you're living in the future.
Yes.
So
yes.
let's drop the
There's
anxiety.
no future. It's
and
only
just
now.
be here for today.
Yeah.
This is all we've got.
Just
So
now.
I want to thank Megan. I want to thank Daniela. I could go on for another hour. I'm sure our listeners could stay for another hour. But we talked about work-life priorities, intention, life learning, no excuses, the way of being and not doing. This has just been an amazing show. I want to thank all of our supporters and listeners for 2019 that found us, that stayed with us, that listen every week, that support all of my guests. I want to thank all my guests that have been on my show. It has been an amazing year, and I'm super excited for 2020. So take the next couple of episodes and next couple of weeks and enjoy our replays, because they were the most played and downloaded and very, very powerful. So thank you all so much for your support, and we will be back in 2020. So
clarity.
be you
2020
and
clarity.
be strong. And just remember, you're the only you that's ever been. You are the only you that will ever be. So be the best you that you can be and live your life, because without it, you leave a space in the world. And we need your purpose and we need your intention, right?
Yes.
All right, you guys,
Yes.
have a wonderful rest of the year.
Thank you.
Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
Thank you for having us.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Megan.
All right, great job, good show.
All right,
Okay.
thanks, Monk.
Yep.
Okay, you guys, we are out. Bye, Facebook. Thanks for hanging in with us. Love you guys. Bye. All right, it is time for us to